Hi, Tony. Welcome. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining me. Before we dive in, can you just share a bit about yourself and also what led you into carnivore? How did it all started for you?
Well, Joseph, thanks for contacting me, reaching out to me to be part of this. I'm happy to do it. I appreciate you reaching out. Um, my carnivore, or should I say, health story started. I've been a diabetic, type 2 diabetic, most of my life, on medication, up to 6 to 7 medications throughout my life, from the lowest dose reaching up to the maximum. And those, metformin, Januvia, lisinopril, all these for heart, for cholesterol, these statins and stuff like that, for over 35, 36 years, even more than that, stop counting. And so, long story short, went to the doctor, as diabetics do 4 times a year to keep tabs on the numbers. And so, not knowing anything about diabetes, not wanting to know anything about diabetes, just taking the medication, like because you trust the doctors, you take the medication, and then you eat whatever you want, and but and that's what you do. And so it's about maintaining the numbers. You take your numbers, and with the meter. And that's the thing. They never showed me how to use what was the point of the meter. So, um, I used to go and if I did it, but if I did it once a day, they said just do it once a day. I've learned that that's a waste of time. It's not enough information. That doesn't say anything. But so went to I would say my semifinal doctor visit. The doctor said your medications are no longer working. You've reached the max. So we're going to have to start having you shoot with insulin. And my understanding of insulin was that was is not a good thing. It was uh, to me it was downhill because I've had friends that are diabetic and on insulin and different, and they're no longer with us, or they got even worse. And that was my memory or understanding of it. So when he said that, I said, "Is there another option?" I said, "Is there what?" And so he said, he went in and he says, we'll talk about a little nutrition. So I think that you should start eating kale. And I'm like, kale? Like, really? Isn't that kale used to decorate like in restaurants? Like that was my understanding of kale. And he says, I don't like kale. I don't, like I generally don't like greens like that. And I said, is there anything else? And he says, well, I'll refer you to a nutritionist. And but in the meantime, we have to start, you on some insulin. I said, no, no, you're not. I'm not going to be shooting anything up. Uh, coming back from the 70s in Brooklyn, in Bushwick, Brooklyn, there was a huge drug epidemic. We won't talk about how it started, but my understanding of whenever you were shooting, that's something that's not good and something I never did, and I'm not going to do it now. So essentially, went home with that bad news, and so had to learn about diabetes. And so it just so happens that my youngest daughter was in the beginnings of a ketogenic diet, which I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even know how to say it, like what. And so I shared with her and my wife what had it. Well, my wife was there. She went to every doctor appointment that I went to. So she was there in the office when the doctor told me. So I didn't have to tell her, but she already knew. Like she was the one that was always after me to be healthy, to eat healthy. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what is eat healthy? Like, I am eating healthy. I'm taking my medication and I'm eating, I'm eating my favorite pastry. I used to have oatmeal in the mornings with syrup, and didn't eat syrup, but more oatmeal, my coffee, and you know eggs and meat and bread and all that, and so on and so forth. So basically, uh, um, um, she, her, my wife, Grace, and my youngest daughter, Nicole, were together sharing notes and doing that. And so they said, why don't you try this? And so I did. And so long story short, because there's a lot of things, information going on, I guess we got to go back and try to address those things. Um, I started doing it. And so within 2.5 months, and so uh, I, let me, before I do that, I started going into YouTube because they led me to some of the people that they watched or that they listened to. And I think, I could be wrong, but some of the folks that they listened to were Dr. Berg at that time. I forget who else. There were one or two other people. My wife was on paleo at that time. She was doing paleo and then the paleo diet, and Nicole was starting the ketogenic diet. And so I investigated. So I guess I typed in YouTube and uh, um, his name is Beating Diabetes. And his name is Dennis Pollock. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Dennis Pollock has that channel on YouTube. And so he was about testing, showing how to use the meter, and he would test himself like 8 times a day. Well, basically before he ate, when he woke up, before he ate, after he ate, and then before he ate again. And you're having like 3 meals, right? Your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and what else? So that was the idea, so that you got an average sense of where your blood was and what the food that you were eating was doing to you. It was more about being a detective, right? For him, it's like uh, you don't have to take recommendations. You can just read the meter and see what's going on. Is the sugar shooting up, or is it coming right down, or is it taking forever to go up and taking forever or never go down? And so that's basically what I started doing. And he would eat things that you shouldn't, like and I'm not going to describe them, and and then see what the results were. And so through months of listening to him, well, eventually months, years, initially, I started incorporating that, and that led to Dr. Ken Berry, who was also at that time using the ketogenic diet. I heard his bio, his testimony of his frustration with not getting his patients healthy, and the fact that he was obese and that he was overweight and that he was, on his way to being type 2 diabetic as well. And so that really frustrated him and forced him to look at himself and what he was doing. And he went in and learned and studied and came up with an approach. And so through his transformation, he helped transform me. He helped the other side of, that's where I learned the ketogenic diet. His wife, Misha, was also carnivore-ish or ketovore. She calls it ketovore. And so I listened to both of them. I liked his honesty. I liked his corny jokes. I liked his simplicity. And at that time, because I didn't trust doctors anymore, because they were, after so many years, what were you saying? Like, this doesn't, I should have been cured with much medication that I took, right? And obviously I was ignorant, right? That medication wasn't going to cure you. It was just going to prolong the agony, I say, and in the meantime, this is what I've learned after the fact. In the meantime, you're getting all the side effects that you're not even aware of, all these different things that you think is just age, or results of just living. And no, a lot of them are side effects of the medication. And then you're taking one medication, three medications, so they're having side effects and things with each other. This all I learned like years and years later, not initially. Initially, I just listened to Dennis Pollock and Ken Berry and Jason Fung and a few others. Jason Fung was about fasting, Dr. Jason Fung. And so again, I was suspect. I didn't believe any of this because I had already been told by, doctors and, been strung along for all those years. But I had no choice because I did not want to shoot insulin. And, And long story short, with it, in applying the suggestions and the advice that Dr. Berry had with all the guests that he had incorporated, brought to his show, his YouTube channel, uh, I started to learn. And within 2.5 months, doing this, I went, the numbers, because because of Dennis Pollock, I knew what my numbers were. I was getting a little dizzy because I was taking too much medication at that point. And so because my numbers were going lower and lower and lower, but I'm not a doctor, so I didn't want to take a chance of not taking my medication because I didn't, like I didn't understand what that was at that point. So I went to my next visit, and at that point I got a meter. I started an app to put the numbers on my phone. And so I would do that every day. It would check, it would automatically download them. And I took my phone to my next visit. And so they took my blood, they took my urine, they sat me down, they looked at the numbers, and then, uh, he couldn't explain, like, so, like, great, like the medication's working. I said, I didn't take any medication, there's no insulin. I was taking the same stuff. I said, doctor, I think you need to reduce my medication. I think I know you need to reduce my medication because I know what I'm feeling. And I know in my head, I know what I've been doing. And these other doctors are recommending and suggesting and advising properly now that I got a little trust. And so I pulled out my phone. I said, look, these are my numbers for the last 4 months. Take a look. And he's looking at them. And I said, I used to prick myself like 12 to 14, maybe 16 times a day just to start learning about food, what foods to eat, what foods not to, because I didn't know what's eating healthy. Like, people tell you eat healthy. Most people don't know what that is. And so I didn't know. I mean, vegetables, right? Vegetables. That's basically what people assume eating healthy is, eating greens, eating. And so, and I was doing that as part of the ketogenic diet. Like, it doesn't mean yeah, I'm not going to get into what I know now. So we'll stick to that, that moment in time. So I did the ketogenic diet, which is, uh, greens and low carb vegetables and high fat meats and all kinds of meat and things like that, even dairy if you're not allergic to it or have a negative response to it. And so basically what happened was I stopped eating the poison. It's not that the ketogenic diet was amazing. It's just that when you stop eating poison, basically, when I say poison, I mean the croissants, the almond croissants, the oatmeal, the bread, the cake, uh, coffee breaks 3 times a day, and it's like all this, right? And anything else, I'm not even going to mention the rice and all my cultural foods that I love to eat, the Chinese food that I love to eat, the rice, all rice and General Tso's chicken with all the sugar on it and stuff like that. Basically, when I say poison these days, that's what I mean. So when you eliminate the poison, even if you're still eating what you're eating, you're left with eating healthy stuff. You don't even know what that is. Your body has a chance to try to recoup and heal itself because it can. I know this now. I didn't know that back then. And so if you stop, just eliminate the poison, it leaves you with the healthy food or healthy options because once you identify what the poisons are, it's going to eliminate all that stuff. And uh, so that's basically what I told him. And so he says, we're no longer, I don't need to prescribe you any of these medications because you're normal now. And I said, I know, and I knew because I had seen the numbers and he saw it on the phone too. And so he got the, the, the manager or the supervisor of the floor or something to share what had happened, right? And he came in, his boss, and to congratulate me on, because I'm sure they were thrilled because that probably doesn't happen or hadn't happened ever or in a long time, or I would say ever, that somebody reversed their diabetes. And it wasn't because of them, although they felt it was them, because I don't know, I've been taking medication for over 35 years. So it's not like, they had their chance for 35 years, right? And again, I could blame myself for not knowing and not digging in and stuff, but I think I'm in the same boat as a lot of people. You trust your doctors, you trust the health, um, health, the hospitals and that whole, and so they fail. I'm not blaming. I think we need doctors. I think we need medicine, but they fail. They fail me. And so in them failing me, I fail myself. But I'm just one of many, 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 many people that have been failed, that are under this ignorant understanding that doctors know things and care and know what to do. I'm the last person that should have been able to reverse my diabetes. Like, it's like, so if I did it without any medical training, right, without knowing anything, and I'm being honest, I was ignorant. Like ignorant in the sense of not knowing. Or Dr. Barry defines ignorance like that. It's not that you're dumb or stupid. It's just that you don't have a clue and you haven't committed any time to learn. I'm a good learner, and I did learn something. They gave me bad advice, and having listened to these initial doctors, and Dr. Pollock is actually a minister. He's a preacher of the word. He goes out to different countries to share the word. So he's not even a doctor, and he was pivotal. He was one in the beginning that was pivotal in my understanding of what a meter is and how to use it and what these foods are doing. And he had a mom that passed away from the complications of diabetes. I think a lot of doctors and people that are in this community have experienced that. Someone close has succumbed to some, whether it's diabetes or something else that could have been avoided or reduced, or and so that for me, um, it was frustrating because 36 years, 35 years of not having to be on medication, that it's like what could have been. And so I was big. I was always big. I was over 300 pounds, triple X, 44 waist, 42 waist. And I did used to go on diets every January. I used to go on a diet, and I could learn. I did reduce, right? But it wasn't a long-term strategy. It wasn't a long-term approach, and it would do it for a while, and then it just come back. And so it was, and it was more for health. Like, even though I didn't know anything about health, but I knew that being big was not good. You got all this weight that you're carrying around, and I live in New York, so when you commute, it's walking up and down stairs in the transit system, walking up and down blocks. You don't get into a car. At least most people don't get into a car from their door to door and drive and they get out in another door. That's another life. That's another lifestyle. That's Jersey, right? That's upstate New York, Long Island, things like that. But in the city, I live in Brooklyn, and I worked in the city, Manhattan, for many years. It's the train. It's the most reliable, fastest way to get around. But you're going up and down stairs, up and down stairs, and you're walking around all day long as well. Uh, Back then I was, and so you're carrying around a lot of weight, and also back then I didn't know what was going on inside, right? I know now. I'm not going to talk about it now, but in terms of putting myself back still in the beginning, and it just along. So this whole approach, learning the ketogenic diet, was not about weight loss. It was about healing. It was about eliminating, trying addressing the type 2 diabetes. And so that happened, and you can't believe it because you think it's not real. It's going to go away, but at 2.5 months, 3 months, 4 months, a year, 2 years, you know, continued, and the healing continued, and then you slowly start. Well, you believe it at then, and then uh, YouTube became a constant. I stopped watching. Basically, I haven't watched TV in a while, I started listening to all these, one doctor spoke about another, and then another. So, uh, you probably know all the doctors that I'm going to refer to that I've listened to. The major, there's a lot of those that I've forgotten, but there's a lot. When you start in this community and you're serious about it, you really hear, and not just the doctors, but the stories of people that their lives have been changed forever, transformed in a way that they never thought could have been, where they're able to walk and walk without pain and not feel pain and fend for themselves and have make plans for the future and be, help, like it's just more than weight loss. It's more than that. So when I say, that I had a transformation, yes, when you see me and you knew me before, people, what happened to you? Are you okay? Are you sick? Because I was half of what I was. Uh, and, and so, um, and what I've learned throughout these years is that I'm not unique. I've listened to so many other people's stories and testimonies, and someone that listens to these stories initially, this is a joke, this is fake. Like these people are making this up, and that was me in the beginning. Like I didn't believe it, but I did it. I had no choice. My reason to do this, and the factor initially was to be around in a reasonable manner for my grandkids. Uh, but eventually transitioned to caring about myself, like doing it for me. Because if I do it for me, then everybody else benefits, and that's what I've been hearing in these stories. Like they're amazing. And for me, like I didn't suffer at least so far, the, what diabetes does, the complications, but a lot of people have. And I've heard stories of people with all different conditions that have been healed or reduced and stuff. And you hear it once and it's like, oh, okay. But you hear it 100 times. It's not a coincidence. It's actually real. And I've not met probably any of those people that I've heard those stories, but basically I've seen them through YouTube and heard their stories. And so thank God for Dr. Berry, Dennis Pollack, Anthony Chafee, Sean Baker. I mean, the list goes on. I have people, Black Carnivore, Sugar Off. I mean, I can go on and on and on, of and the new ones, let me just really quickly list them. I listed them here. Richard Bernstein, the father of the machine, who else? Dr. Tony Hampton, Eric Westman, Dave Mack, No Carb Life, Robin Herron, Carnivore Grandma, and so on. Like, just add 1,000 more of those people that have helped me learn. Basically, I've been to the university there, the university on YouTube, and slowly learn. There's things that I know that I've forgotten already, that it comes out. It comes out. And so that is a long one for the beginning, and the reason why I started how I started.
Tony, that is I don't know how to explain it. I'm just gonna go by it's beyond impressive because I feel like you've gone through so much with the diabetes for more than 3 decades. You said 35 years, right? So, and then you're
Over,
reversing it in just,
yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah,
you're reversing it in just 2.5 months. So
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's also beyond incredible. I don't know a lot of people who has diabetes like the way you had it for this long. So, and also losing amount of weight. I think you lost about 120 pounds, right?
Mhm.
And your size also went down from 3XL to what was it? Large, right?
I'm a
I think
large now. At one point I was a medium. I'm five, my wife will fight me with this. I think I'm 5'10". She'll say I'm 5'9". I don't care. I think I grew actually, but after my age. But it's more importantly the weight, because I'm not. I'm not carrying around all that weight anymore. So I weigh roughly at one, the lowest has been 175. The average is 175 to 185. I don't even check anymore. My waist at one point it was 30, went down to 31. And so now it averages from 31 to 32, depending on the size, the fit. Like I said, large shirts, and depending on the style. And my shoe size hasn't changed though. That didn't. It's still the same. Some people are. I, that's one thing carnivore or this lifestyle has not changed. It doesn't change the shoe size. But everything else I think that matters. And so more importantly, and again, the visual outward appearance is really, has really moved people and like shocked people, friends initially, because they thought I was sick. And what happened? What are you doing? You all right? Like, and so it's an opportunity to share. And once I share, they're like, okay, we don't want to talk about this anymore. It's uh, I mean, they can't believe it. Like I didn't believe it in the beginning. Like who's this Canberry? Who's this? Like what? Like, and I get it. But but the more important thing, this really, and I think I had discussed this a little bit with you before we got on. The transformation maybe begins outwardly, but it continues internally. And when I mean internally, I mean physically, but also emotionally, mentally. My wife says that I used to have these anger attacks when I was, in the midst of my diabetes, and I guess I didn't know. There was a lot of things that I realized that I had years later after listening to the other testimonies that I didn't even know. I thought it was so normal, like it was just part of who I was, and so to me, the transformation continues. It doesn't end as your body continues to heal itself and reintroduce itself to itself, like saying, "This is who you are. This is what you can do." It remembers, like, "Oh, I can heal cuts. I can heal, tissue. I can heal brain. I'm designed that way." Like so, the body's talking to itself, and I'm watching my body talk to itself and say, "You guys are awesome." Like it's like, hello, you get me. They're introducing them for the first time. It's like this guy stopped poisoning us, so now we can do what we do. And that's my creative imagination. Like I told you, I'm a creator designer, so it's no short of that. Like when you take off the handcuffs, right, from who your body is designed to be, it does amazing things. And I have experienced that. And yeah, it's there's so many things that you just take for granted, that's the way it is, that once you start experiencing these things, uh, and a lot of times, and you notice it, but you don't. Nah, that can't be. And since I listened to so many testimonials and stories, I had this. That's happened to me. That same thing happened to me because I couldn't identify it, and so uh, yeah, I know what they're talking about. So you relate. You can relate to what it is that they're sharing with you, and so yeah. So hopefully I answered your question. Oh, by the way, this
You did,
background,
Tony. I think
this
you
back,
answered
this
it pretty well. Hmm.
yeah, this background is a watercolor alcohol painting that my wife did. She's an artist as well. She's a
Oh,
creative artist. So
very nice.
yeah. So yeah, that's transformation. On so many levels, and to me, that's the unseen benefit that a lot of people, when they're coming into this community or this ketogenic diet or whatever this in the spectrum, it's a lot of times it's to lose weight, and losing weight, you get self confidence, you get that's a good thing, but it turns out they realize it's so much more. That was like a little. You were just going for the little thing, when this ability uh, to know that you're able to last longer and be more energetic and be around to help more people longer at a high level. It's another area that you didn't realize what it could be. You're just trying to get down the stairs without pain or up the stairs. You're not even thinking beyond that. And so when this hits you and then it starts doing what it does, it's unbelievable. And I'm talking about the testimonies that you've heard that I've listened to and the stories of, I'm not going to say a name, but they're out there if you're interested. Uh, oh, just watch Joseph's channel. uh, they're creeping up there as well already. Yeah.
It's awesome. Tony, I guess just thinking, going back to your earlier decades, like, just thinking about those earlier years, decades on multiple medications, did it ever felt like your life was dictated by diabetes, rather than the other way around? Or, did you ever felt like you were being held back, like avoiding certain foods, or maybe going to an event, like you mentioned, like the best way to go around New York is, those subway stations to train, right? Like,
Hmm.
did you ever felt like you're being held back because of diabetes, and being held back from doing a specific activity?
No, diabetes, like I said, was not something that I knew about. And you're so used to if there are uh, things that are preventing you from functioning properly at the age you're in. I didn't get it. I didn't know what that was. I operated normal, like I was normal. Didn't have any of the complications throughout those years that were obvious, like going blind or having your foot cut off or your leg cut off or having a heart attack, right? That might not be so obvious because heart attacks are usually blamed on something else and things like that. So I didn't have any of that. I did have uh, uh, some of the things that I did have, and I'll list them here. Where is that? Yeah. And that didn't prevent me because I didn't connect it to diabetes, like kidney failure, enlarged heart, herniated belly button surgery, sleep apnea, back pain, scoliosis. But that's something that I was born with. Whole body and joint inflammation and brain fog. And I can put words to those things now because I learned after the fact. But they didn't prevent me from operating and designing and doing the things that I like to do, even eating. I didn't know what to eat, that I was eating anything wrong. I was taking my medication. So that's all I needed to do. And so looking back and seeing some of these things, oh, that I know that's a direct connection to diabetes. These things that I listed, especially kidney failure, right? Like how do you get fatty liver? Like I know how that happens now. It's not because you drink too much. That could happen. That's one way. But the way it mainly happens is the food that you eat, the poison that you're taking in, and which turns into alcohol, which turns, like fermentation, all of that stuff. That's Dr. Kiltz talking. I don't know if you know who Dr. Kiltz is. And No, it didn't. I was always like, I was raised in Brooklyn, Brooklyn, and we were athletes. We played outside. We played all day long. We played football, basketball, baseball. We had a gym. We were very physical. So it was the mind, the minds where we grew up was like that exercise, not exercise, but athletics. And so I was always pretty strong, pretty, physical. I didn't look like I didn't have a great physique. I was just, fat, big belly, but I was strong. The muscles were underneath all that, and it was strong. So I was basically, I didn't go to the gym, but my gym was going up and down the stairs carrying all that weight. So which was 100 and some pounds. And so I didn't know that I was feeling bad. I didn't know that there was something wrong with me, you know. And so, no, I have to say it didn't stop me, prevent me from doing anything. I did my job. I was the best at my job. I helped those young people that I spoke to you about. And so I did get sick. I used to get backaches. I did, there wasn't anything that I would even say, hey, it must be the type 2 diabetes. Nope. And apparently the doctors all that time didn't say, this belly button surgery is a result of these foods that you've been eating and this, all, none of that. It was just none, that never happened. Those conversations, I know these conversations now because of what I've heard after the fact and years of learning. I would say that I know more than most doctors know about nutrition. And it's just because having listened to Dr. Berry for so long and him saying that himself, saying that they don't know. We got a week's of nutrition learning. Even the nutritionists don't know the effects of certain foods that have the expertise, right? And I don't say that because I know. I say that because many doctors that I listen to say that, and they will show you the facts and show you the data. And so like, I don't care if I'm wrong, but I'm am the way I am now. Before I wasn't. Now I am as a result of listening to all these doctors in this community. And so, yeah, and now that I know how I should feel, or I don't even need to know. My body tells me this is how you feel now. I'm addressing this. Uh, and it's like a lot of people will be like, what do you mean that your body told you, that your brain told you to do, that like I can't even explain it. It just, you got to try it and see and say, I
Yeah,
thought
when they say your
it was,
body, let hear your body. Yeah.
yeah, you're basically, again, that I was, when I was going off on your body being able to heal itself and talking to itself, saying, now you can do what you need to do, what you were designed to do because the poison is gone. It's saying, what are you talking about, poison? I said, well, it's the metaphor, for like if you have a cup of poison that's full and you tell me just have a moderate, what is the term that's used a lot? You don't need to stop eating what you're eating, just eat a little. Uh, and I say, all right, apply that to poison and alcohol, an alcohol to an alcoholic, right? And poison to anyone else. Just just take a little poison. You're still going to be poisoned. You're still going to affect the poison, and the more you take it on a regular basis, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Alcoholic, there's no such thing as having a little taste and then going on your merry way. Now you're going to have the whole thing, and so this idea that and I bring the poison up because it stunts your body's ability to do what it's designed to do, and so it's walking around, with a cast and it's bandaged on the head, and the other arm doesn't work, and metaphor again, because it can't heal, it can't do what it needs to do. But when you release all that, then it just shines. It does what it does. And I'm saying that because I've experienced that. I'm 68, and I had no clue what I was going to feel like at 68 because I saw everybody else my age or younger not operating the way I do. And I couldn't have guessed it, but I can say now because I'm here right now and I know what I'm feeling. And at my job, at my job, I am, my coworkers, or most of them are all younger than me, look at me like, who are you? Like, as if I'm just me, and so I, I don't think that I could do the job that I'm doing right now. It's very physical. Uh, uh, if I hadn't transformed, if my body hadn't transformed, allowed it, given it, uh, uh, the ability to do what it's designed to do. And to me, it's also a very spiritual, um, impactful perspective that our bodies, a temple, and so when you allow the body, or you treat it like it's a temple, and you allow it to do what it's designed to do, uh, literally, all hell breaks loose in a positive way because it does what it's designed. And I can't really bring words to it because you need to experience it. Anyone that's really curious and really wants to know, I can't give you an explanation. You just got to try it. You just got to try it and prove me wrong. Prove like the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people wrong, and the doctors wrong that are part of this community. And I hope, and I hope you do, because I'll take the chance that I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm gonna be wrong. I think you're gonna find something that's gonna change your life. It's just gonna be like, really, like, but that's not what everybody else was saying. And so, yeah, back to the question. No, I didn't. It didn't prevent me, but I'm sure I know that a lot of the stories that I've heard, it has, right? It has uh, your anxiety, prevented you from participating in certain things. You've lost limbs, the complicate, eyesight, all of that. That was not my experience. So I thank God for that, because I didn't get to that place, even though it was for so many years. Um, but there are people that have gone through this less, and I mean, they're gone. They're not even around, and they're younger than me. And so I feel that I am blessed, and that I thank God. And so I will treasure this and try to share it as honestly as I can with everyone and anyone. Because the honest truth is that it's almost impossible to share these days, because people don't want to hear it. And initially, when I had my transfer, this news, I want to tell everybody, and I lost the weight, and I wanted to tell and share with everybody. And they have smiles, but now they see you coming, they walk away. So I've learned. This is years now. I've learned to know, not when to speak, when not to speak, when to share, when not to share. If your outward appearance is not enough, and how you handle yourself is not enough, and if they can't make the comparisons and make the connection, uh, you know, it's not I'm really saddened a lot, because I could help. I see people, and I'm sure you do. Oh, I know exactly what they need to do. I know what they're experiencing. If you knew that in 2.5 months or even less, you could change be off all medication. Well, not all, but certain, or let's say a year, all gone, and you start healing without, would you like? I wish I could, but I can't. So, and I work in a place that's public, and so I'm surrounded by people that could probably get a good word in to know what to do. They don't even know. Like, they don't even know. I can see it in their face. I could see, and so it's for me as a believer, who wants to take care of people and offer good news and things like that. You have to hold back. I mean, I've learned that I have to hold back, so that I have to wait for those moments of opportunity. So I've been doing it differently. I've created t-shirts. I have this one on: diabetes is reversible. They might ask me a question. I've created buttons. I do all the social media. And coworkers as well. Like, I have a list of people. The last time that I was interviewed, they asked me, so how many people know that you know are carnivore? And I said, me, that I know. And that has changed into almost 12 to 15 people now. I have, that when they saw my story on YouTube, it was like become official, right? Because they're hearing it on a platform, and I'm like, all right, all right. So I made buttons, and I put a QR code on it, on the card, so that they could scan it, takes them directly to that interview, so they could hear my story, and they don't have to hear it from me, or they can hear it at their convenience. And there's something about
I think
people
that's a good
seeing,
way.
yeah, Yeah, again, this is my
Yeah, I think that's a good
designer
way to
graffiti.
start a conversation.
Yeah. And the thing is, right, with a button, right, I said, look, here, it's like a business card, but the button, and it has my bio in the back, my journey, and it has an image, and the QR code. I said, you want to hear about, you really hear my interview, hear a story, how my life has changed. Here, just take that at your leisure, scan it, share it, or if you don't want to share it with somebody else, share it with someone else. And again, the power of marketing, the power of branding, the power, I'm using my skills to bring the word out in a way that's not as jolting to people. And I'm a good designer. I feel I'm a good designer, and so I've been doing this for a long time. And so I said, why not use these skills to communication? And so I incorporate a little graffiti, a little design, this that. There's some, like, I just did some. I did these this postcard. You can see it. Um, yeah. So it's a postcard. So that when they order things, I'll give them a free postcard. Uh, just for the sake of communication. And on the back of the card are 3 QR codes. One to my interview, which will probably, this one will be added to it, yours, a QR code to this interview, and my Etsy shop, and my website, and my TikTok. And these are buttons that I did that say type 2 diabetes is reversible, and has my bio in the back. And so these are ways, after I had that first interview, I said, I've been not doing everything that I could. And I know person to person is very difficult. People don't want to hear it. But as a result of that, over like 15 people, my youngest brother and his wife have turned to carnivore. They used to be vegans. My oldest brother, he's lost a ton of weight. He's been bouncing back and forth, which is understandable. A bunch of people, but if you ask me now, I'd say like 15 people at my job. Uh, a couple of people have, and they're constantly asking me questions and stuff like that. And so I know that once somebody else does it, then they connect to their circle and their circle and their, so there's that potential, for good to be done, for that information to come out. And like I had said in my first interview, one of my things I want to do is get this message out into the community that I come from, Puerto Rican, and from Brooklyn and the Bronx and Queens and all those, just in general, this area here, to bring that information, because it's desperately needed all over the United States, right, the world. But because this is my home, so it's a close thing, and you see it every day. And I said, man, he doesn't need a walker. He doesn't need that cane. And again, assuming that it's not hit by a car or something like that, most of these things are avoidable. And again, I can't close my, it's like I can't, I just know so much now that I have to hold back because it's none of my business. A lot of things, you don't want to offend people and stuff like that. Who do you think you are?
Tony, I think yeah, Tony, I think what you're doing is really amazing because you created this designs to start conversations. Also, at the
Mhm.
same time, you're like approaching people, even if you get rejected. You're still doing it because you feel like a sense of duty. I think all carnivore people and keto, right, who's doing
Mhm.
ketogenic diet, we all feel that same duty to just like get the word out. And I think you're doing an amazing job, like even though getting rejected, I think it's all part of it. So I think that's amazing. I wanted to touch back, like in the beginning, did you I guess, did you ever like had any mistakes? Did you had your I would say like oxalate dumping, or did you like had a mistake and learn from them, or maybe let's say the oxalate dumping, did you have that moment where you like, oh, this is not working, I might give up, because this is a bad side effect from the keto diet?
I know exactly what you're talking about because I've listened for years now, right? did not experience any of that. No oxalate dumping, not this idea I need to turn back. When that happened in 2.5 months, after that many years, it's like, this is it. Like, I don't understand it. And because I had no clue, let's say, what oxalate dumping was back then, I know what it is now. I've heard so many stories, right? And what it is and how it actually is, and the diarrhea, the different, possibly hair loss on the ketogenic diet. I mean, just a slew of things that force people to leave. And I had no hair, so I had nothing to worry about. I didn't have a lot of hair. So when I was in the ketogenic, no, seriously, I didn't experience any of that. Like, uh, and I don't know why, because again, I wasn't like this big salad eater either, or I did like my guacamole. I did like, you know, what, didn't eat a lot of fruit. Maybe strawberries, blueberries, uh, apples. Didn't knew that orange juice was no good, even before all of
What
this.
was your
Like,
favorite food back then?
okay, arroz con habichuela, viste, plátano y maduro. So what that means is rice and beans, sweet plantains, and steak, and cebollado, meaning with onions, onion, steak and onions, and pernil, roast pork, not just in Christmas, and more rice, arroz con gandule, rice with pigeon peas is a staple to, Puerto Rican culture and many Caribbean cultures, black eyed peas in the South. Um, so it was all starchy, baked potato, corn on the cob, any Mexican food, any Mexican food, and the fake one and the real one, like it's in, um, and so, but I like meat. I like chicken. I've always liked the dark part, the fatty part, always. I like the thighs, love the wings, and not a liker of turkey. Love bacon. That was the thing when I started trying to realize what to eat. I said, I'm eating all that stuff. I just have to stop eating the other stuff, the baked goods. Like, I'm a baker. I am a baker. My mom was a baker. She brought that to all of us, and she has our own recipe for cinnamon rolls, cinnamon buns, which are amazing, better than anything you've ever tasted. We all know how to bake those cinnamon buns, and so we used to bake that a lot. The corn muffins in the morning, scones, different things. Like, there was a lot of baking and a lot of trips to, the bakeries, the fine bakeries in New York. There was a lot of good bakeries and donut shops, right? I don't know if you're here. No, I'm not going to mention it. There's certain bakeries that you can go to. And I used to have my 3 meals. Well, it was always rice, something rice, very few sandwiches. I love burgers for sure. Totally, burgers with, everything on it. And, but the cultural food, all just what that was, like the rice and beans. I could eat rice and beans 7 days a week. Let's just put it that way. And I didn't, because my wife used to get bored and, tired of doing the same thing. And wasn't asking for it, but if she put it there, I ate it with meat, whether it's chicken, you know, steak, pork chops, uh, fish and chips. There's a place here from the UK, or UK inspired, called the Battery, and they cook the fish and chips the way they do in the UK. A lot of potatoes with ketchup, lots of ketchup, lots of sugar. um, but yeah, that is. You might be familiar with some of the foods that I eat as a staple, because
Yeah, yeah, I'm
culturally,
very familiar.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
What is
yeah.
your? I
So
mean,
go ahead.
sorry. Now that you're switch completely, what is your favorite food now? Actually, maybe yeah, what is your favorite food now? And then maybe you can walk me through, um, I guess your current diet or what you eat like daily. Do you like mix them up, or do you just like stay consistent, like day by day, or like is it different weekly?
Um, once I like transitioned from a ketogenic diet, uh, I guess you want to call it that transition's ketovore. It's eating more meat and less of the vegetables or the greens or whatever that I used to eat a lot of cauliflower mash. I remember that. Used to bathe it in butter, and broccoli and stuff like that. Basically, so I'll just tell you what I eat. You know, Essentially, I buy what's on sale. And when I say that, I mean steak wise. I'm not going to pay $20 a pound for steak. I don't care how good it is. It's not necessary. And I learned that from Dr. Ken Berry. Like it's more about what you don't eat than what you do eat. So when you're not eating all that other stuff, you're going to be fine. Even if it's, let's say, what he would say, the cheapest potted meat in the can. Like that's better than any processed, ultra processed food. And so in the mornings, generally what I have is a steak or like a strip steak, as fatty as I can find it. And these days are hard because they cut all the fat away. So I cook it in whatever I have. So I usually have tallow or bacon fat from the renderings of the bacon that I cook, or what other fat do lard. So I generally like to have tallow. That's my favorite. My favorite is bacon fat, but unless I'm cooking a lot of bacon, I don't get a lot of the fat. It's so flavorful. And but my favorite is actually strip steak. New York strip steak. I get it here. It used to be like 7.99 a pound, and back in the good old days, like 2 years ago, and and now it goes up to like 12.99 a pound. And so what I do is I wait because I know that they're going to bring it down. So the lowest that I can get it now is 9.99 a pound. And when they do, I stock up. And it goes in the freeze. I pull like maybe a week or 2 weeks out and let it age in the fridge. I salt it, and it's just there. Uh, and eggs, like I have like probably 10 dozen of eggs in my refrigerator. And so I'm not like eggs fill me up a lot. So I find that the most that I can eat with steak is about 4 to 5 eggs. And if I make an omelet, I think four, even 3 eggs are enough because they kind of expand. And my omelets, they probably have more butter than they have eggs. so, so I've used up to like close to half a stick or 3/4 of a stick of butter with, let's say, like 4 eggs that I've scrambled together. I learned that from Chef Pepin from France. He's a French chef back, he's still around. He's a little bit older. He taught me how to cook omelets. This was before I was, on any of this, and I never forgot. And so it's just basically, eggs are the carrier of the butter. And so he's French. And so I cook my eggs like that style, and they're not runny, but they're soft. And so if I choose to put little bits of ham, little bits of bacon, leftover meat, usually there's no leftover meat because I eat it all. Whatever, and cheese. I eat cheese, not all the time, but I'll put cheese, whatever is available. And that's it, steak. And if it's not steak, the majority of the time it's steak because I load up, and I love that. There'll be, once in a blue moon, there'll be ribeye. Ribeye is good because it has a lot of fat, but it's also very expensive here. I don't know how it is in Jersey or anywhere else. But I kind of like the strip steak. Chuck steak, it's a little tough. And it's gone up so high that it's not worth even getting it. You just get the strip steak. And since that's basically all I eat, I don't have to buy all the other stuff around, all the vegetables, all the fruits, all the, processed stuff, all the jars, all the cans, all of that. It's basically, I actually save money and time because it's like, how do I cook this? Oh, I've only cooked it 100 times. It's the same. And I have specific pans uh, allocated for certain things, for eggs and steak. So it's all no brainer. And uh, wings, chicken wings, chicken thighs, and what happened? Yeah, so that's the morning, and I cook every morning. Morning. I don't even call them what they are. It's my first meal is my first meal, and my second meal is whenever I get home from work. If I'm home, then it's a little earlier. It's like 5 or 6 o'clock. I'll have my second meal. I don't eat lunch or that middle meal, whatever you want to call it, and I don't snack at all because I'm not hungry. If I do have anything in the middle of the day, it's usually coffee. I do drink coffee with heavy cream, no sugar, no anything else. And so, um, and that's essentially it. A lot of water. I do throw salt in my water. Uh, I've been doing a lot of different tests throughout these years to see uh, what the benefits are and what if it makes a difference and stuff like that. Um, and like I was saying, I have a very physical job, so I'm usually on my feet all day long, and so my legs don't get a time to recover. So between that and let's say because I'm carnivore, if I don't get enough water or salt or a combination of the two, you might experience some cramping and stuff like that. But it's mainly due to uh, being on your feet for so many hours consecutively for days without getting rest. And overnight is not enough recovery when you're doing that consistently. From what I've listened to, there's a lot of people that work out in the gym in this community. Uh, Sean Baker being one of them, and Anthony Chafee being another one. And the guests that they bring on, one of the things I've learned is that you need recovery. The body needs to recover. And so I'm at a point where I don't have that option. So I've had to modify, and learn about my body. My body, what are you saying? What are you saying? And so, but yeah, so essentially, in the mornings, that first meal is usually steak because it's quick, it's easy. I don't want to spend a lot of time. I don't know many people that work and cook in the morning. They order when they get to work or on their way to work, in the city, at least when you work in the city, or they order it to their job once they get there. I cook every day, every day, even when I'm not working, before I leave the house, because there's nothing out there that I want. And the best meal that I'm going to have is the one I make myself. And so some of the other things, that first meal is, let's say, ham and cheese omelet or a bacon omelet or 5 eggs with like a pound of bacon or 3/4 of a pound because I always leave like a couple of strips for my wife or my daughter. Um, and yeah, so they're, by the way, like they're not carnivore, but they're close to it. They do something, I don't even know what it is, but they do it. And they, like I said, my wife had been on the paleo diet initially, and so I just went on to a whole nother level because I had diabetes. They None of them had uh, those conditions, so they didn't have that need. And so I just went on, and so for the first meal, like it's to me, it could be ribeye, it could be most of the times it's strip steak. It's very simple, lots of butter, you know, not as much. I used to put a lot of butter on the steak before, um, and not good because I think I was having too much butter, so I was having different outcomes in the bathroom. I'll just put it that way. And so again, this journey, right? Learning how, listening to your body, trying to be a detective, and then listening to all these stories and saying, "Oh, so that's right. Let me try that, and let me try this." And again, since your body's in flux, it constantly changes. It's constantly renewing itself. Things don't stay the same. That's another thing that I learned. it's okay. Like body cells die and new ones come in. Rebirth is happening and internally in your brain as well. And so it's to have some knowledge about yourself, your body is really good. And this community has helped me do it. And the fact that I actually listen, go and it's part of my education every day. I try to take in something every day. And as you probably might know, my family members are tired of me always because that's what I listen to. I listen to other things. I'm a Marvel guy. I'm a Star Wars guy. I like Sherlock Holmes, all that stuff. I like movies. But this to me is life, and this is I did initially I was doing it to learn for myself, to help myself, but now I do it so that I could explain better to someone that doesn't know. Like I want to be able to be knowledgeable, at least to just explain in simple words, right? Complicated issues. Um, I'm kind of like digesting the knowledge, that let's say, the scientists and the doctors that are really into uh, the details of science, and then I take it and just simplify it. That's to me one of it. It's what designers do. They simplify imaging. They take complex issues and simplify the messaging, and that's what I do with the story of my health and other people's health, and so that's essentially the uh, I guess I turn full steak into ground beef, like in terms of information, that it's more palatable and easier to consume or
That's
whatever.
awesome, Tony. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if since we want to talk to like a lot of people, right? Like about who
Mm-hmm.
want to share the stories, the testimonials. Let's say I come up to you, like you don't know me, and I say, um, one of my relatives has diabetes. What
Mm-hmm.
would you recommend for him to do? I see you're having success with the carnivore, but he doesn't think that carnivore is going to work. What would you tell him?
Well, the outcome and what I've learned, it doesn't matter what you eat, really, what you don't like to eat or what you think is, like I won't. Unless it's a religious thing, something that it's because of their faith they can't consume. To me, it's all about eliminating the poison. I don't care what you eat after that. And what I mean by that is that because to me, the poison is everything hurting your body. The poison is the ultra processed food. If something has like 35 or 40 ingredients in it, I don't think you should eat that. If something, like meat, when you look at it on the ingredients, it just says beef. That's it. That's all it says. I'm sure there's micro something ingredients in there, but basically it says beef. But anything in the center of the store that is more than 2 words, you shouldn't be eating. And to me, if it has more than 2 words, it's poison. And it becomes very easy. Initially, it's difficult. Uh, Um, and and so again, it depends on the person. If this person's like 60 years old, right? Or where they're coming, are they European? Are they this? Essentially, the approach is the same. Once they identify what's the poison, then they'll know what to eat. So how do they know what the poison is? That's the problem. And so that's why I created these button packs with my the QR code so they could scan. And a lot of times I also include a link to Dr. Barry's Proper Human Diet as well, which is free. And it says, I can give you the information, but you need to read it and apply it. If you have any questions, I'm here or here. You can go here, here. It really relies on the person, like it's not, it's free, but the cost is that you have to do the work. And, you know, when I was doing what I was doing, and even before that, um, there was no like the diabetes is reversible. There was none of this, and there was no doctor. There was nothing. And and so you didn't have that option. You had to succumb unless you went into the library or a medical library and went dug in those books and or went to a college or medical and started asking questions and stuff like that. You don't need to do that now. The information is available right there. As a matter of fact, I'm making it simple. Where is that thing? Let's see. Do I have one? No, I don't. Yeah, here it is. This one has the QR code, and it says "Scan me," and to see hear my story. And so it's just one story. I think I've been interviewed. This will be the third one, right? But I could put like a million QR codes to all different stories. The only reason why I'm doing me is because I gave myself permission to do that. I'd have to go and start asking people, can I do this? Can I do this? So that was just for me executing, because that would have been something, then I would have not done it because it would have taken too long, this and that. So I not the type person that I want to be out there. I don't, like I didn't want to be doing this, right? In public. But I found that I had to, even though I didn't want to. It's not that I can't speak. It's not that I'm not a people person. It's just that I just didn't want to do that. And I still, to a point, have not done it. And even in social media, it's more about the work than me. And so, in answer to your question, one is it depends on the person what I'm going to say. Two, how am I feeling that day? you know, uh, but mainly for me, it's finding a way to pique the interest, pique the curiosity. If they're coming to me and asking me that, it's because they've seen something in me already from afar or from being around me, right? It's not because I've gone up to them, hey, you got to do this, or they heard it from somebody that I already spoke to, right? Especially in my context. It'd be awesome if people came to a stadium and for the purpose of hearing how to reverse diabetes for free without medication. That'd be awesome. You got 100,000 people all at once, and they would inspire each other. And like the meetups that I've never been to. I've been to no meetups, uh, and so, but I understand the importance and the power of that because people need people connection, that person to person. So it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. And again, I'm me. Like there's people that are more outward, even more like they know they don't care. There's no shame in their game, so they're gonna go at you. They're gonna come at them and tell them and chase them. I'm not gonna do that. And again, there's a place for that for certain people. But I think in general, I think your testimony, how you are, how you carry yourself, how it's happening to you is the most powerful message and approach and technique. Keep it simple. Again, like branders, creators keep messaging simple. They take complex information and reduce it to one word or one color in a word. Like that's part of the problem, or what we do. It's not just doing pretty things. It's communicating in simple ways that people connect, uh, and they get it, or they pique the interest and the curiosity. I'd say anything you can do to pique the curiosity, and make it personal. Like share. Don't be afraid to share emotion, because it's emotional. I mean, my transformation is a miracle. You know, it allows me to do the work I do, continue to live, inspire more young people, even more young people, uh, and just be around in the world. And so that's that's what we're here for. We're here for people, right? At the end of the day, we're here for people. That's the sacred aspect of living, is connecting with people, offering people, sacrificing for people, giving, giving, giving. Because in return, not that you're asking for it, it empowers you. It makes you healthy because now you feel that what was given to you is being used, in a positive way to help humanity. There's a podcast or somebody out there that has that. um, yeah, it's about caring for people. So whatever you do, just do it in a way that has empathy and that is tactful. Uh, Again, you're going to offend people because there's a lot of vegans out there. You say any word with meat in it, they're done. Like it's, again, and there's some that are amazing. I work around them as well. Uh, they're baffled, but they're just people. Um, yeah. So in answer to your question, I hope I answered your question. It all depends on the person, but also it's about defining the poison. And for me, it is a poison because it was I was headed towards, and I was already experiencing the effects of the poison without even knowing it. And then who knows what's next? Who knows what heart attack, uh, kidney failure, pancreatic cancer. I have a brother who passed away from that. Young, I'm older than him now, and he was like 2 years older than me, a Marine. If I knew what I knew now, that person, I would have been all over it. I would not. You see, I would not relent. I wouldn't be tactful. I'd be in the face because he's my brother. But other people, no. You have to, have to respect and or again, it's hard because you have this pair of jeans that everybody wants, and you got it for $5, and out there it's $100, and you know where to get it for $5. You want to share that with everyone. They found it, and you can't, well, you can, but it's just not. They don't want to hear it. With all the addiction that's going around and all the misinformation that's going around, I get it. I remember I didn't have a clue, and I'm a little stubborn, so I didn't want to hear anything. I already knew. You don't need to tell me what I need to know. So again, every individual is different. Every opportunity is different, and some things just fall on your lap and it happens. But most of the time, this community and what they're going through, the people that are sick and don't know, they don't know. They don't know that they could feel better because their reality has always been the same. And until you don't try it, you don't know. You don't know how good it is. And how do you put that in a
Yep.
jar?
That's That's exactly what it is. I think you've answered it plenty. I mean, also, I just wanted to add onto it because you were saying like we just have to share a story. I think your short story is incredibly meaningful. Especially what you went through. I don't know a lot of people that gone to like those many decades with diabetes and then just reversing them in just 2.5 months. That's beyond excellent. Um, Tony, I just wanted to ask you one more question. Like, how do you see this community, the carnivore community, going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see like some positive outlook or some negative outlook? Do you see like the beef prices going up? Do you see censorship because maybe the big pharma is not liking the results, but so many people joining the community, because it's been like working for so many people. Do you see it as a good thing and bad thing?
Well, all the negative things that you said on the negative side, they're bad, right? Like that's obviously censorship and prices going up and all of that. Um, to me, the biggest thing uh, that you have to worry about is really none of that. It's uh, gaining the knowledge. For me, when I learned uh, and it worked, it didn't matter. Like it didn't like what everything was going on around me. And when you have somebody like a Dennis Pollock or even a Bernstein, giving you knowledge, and Dr. Ken Berry telling you, what the options are and what, like telling you the truth, you know. that you don't even know it's the truth when you're first hearing it. It's just, this guy, this should I trust this guy? I mean, because to me, so let's say, for instance, an example that the government determines, makes some stupid decisions, and then uh, beef is no longer produced in the United States; it's produced all over the world. So all the prices go up. Or let's just say it has nothing to political prices. Beef to prices went up 100%, or from $20 a pound to $100 a pound. Let's just say that. What would I do? I'd eat corned beef. I'd eat sardines. I'd eat eggs. I'd eat, I'm not going to eat any of the poison because I already know unless I want to die. Basically, when you have no option, when your options have changed, you have to adapt. Your body is designed to adapt, not to be eat vegetables and stuff forever, right? We can eat some of that, but it's kind of like doing the best you can with what you're offered, and the knowledge that you have should adapt and adjust to what's happening, because that's probably going to happen, right? And even if it didn't before, I didn't know that was available, so it didn't matter how it was happening, but I wasn't getting healthy. So it didn't matter the politics. It didn't matter how high the prices were. It didn't. None of that mattered. What mattered was that I was eating the poison. I just didn't know what the poison was. Now I know what the poison is. Now that I have that knowledge, there's no shame, as Dr. Berry would probably say, is there's no shame in your game. Eat what you can afford, and eat what what you can attain. That being donated. If you want to live, but it's mainly having the knowledge, right? And once you have the knowledge, you can adapt and you can persevere. I mean, it's unfair, right? But you do what you do. If I didn't have this knowledge, right, even now, so what do you think would happen? I'd be eating poison. I wouldn't be living so long, and the quality of my life would go down, straight down. So I get like we need to do things to help, modify, and like yes, we should be having the farmers should be had the opportunity to feed the rest of the United States, and the prices come down and be more manageable and stuff. But there's no guarantee in that. And all the things you listed, there's no guarantee. We don't know. But one thing that we do know now, and I know what kills me, at least for now. Maybe in another 2 or 3 years, I'll know more. But I know enough now to be and know that what's the term? I'm actually, excelling at how I feel and how I am. So for me, it's okay, adapt, adapt. I forget what the doctor's name is. He Adapt Life. He has a platform like that. You adapt. And it's unfair. Uh, will I be bored with those meats and those things? No, because there's no option, right? I can't pay $100 a pound for steak. It's not even, it doesn't exist. So I will have to look very closely at what's available that's not poison. That's my long answer.
Yeah, I very much agree with your outlook. I think we have to adapt, which I think is a very good advice. I mean, overall outlook. Um, Tony, if people want to reach out or connect with you, where's the best place to reach out to you?
Um, it's in my Instagram, SST3 underscore carne, CARNE. Carne means meat in Spanish. So SST3 underscore carne. SST3 is what I used to write on the trains in the New York City transit system when I was in the 70s, when I was decorating the trains for the city without their permission. So SST3, and it also stands for Starlight Studio as well. It's my design company website. Also, three is for three daughters. and the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, three. The three is a significant number, and the three letters, right? Oh, again, it's the designer in me simplifying, finding meaning and simplicity. But yeah, SST3 underscore carne. And that link can send you to my TikTok. You can find me in the TikTok, which I don't know now. I sent them to you, the links, email them to you. So if you want to put them on this, uh, they can certainly link up. My Etsy shop is on there. I have this shirt on there, uh, so that you can wear it or offer it to other people, or buttons so that you can give away with the story. And I'll probably make a button, add the link of this story to the button pack so that they can go to either one or my website, wherever I post, to get the word out. And you can just share that story as well. You feel free to copy whatever I do, when it comes to, I'm telling this to everybody that's seeing this, copy whatever I've made to share it with people that's going to help them. And, you can get a hold of me like that, or through Joseph Reyes. You just go to his platform and look me up, and the information will be there.
That's excellent, Tony. I'll make sure to post all of it in the description. Tony, thank you again for joining me today. I really enjoyed hearing your story, more about your journey. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and much success. And I salute you in doing what you're doing, like taking the baton and moving forward to, send this message to communities that might not get it, because I feel the same way. So maybe one day I'll have a platform as well. Let's see if I can execute. But knowing that you and people like you are doing it, I know that you're going to be very successful in doing that. So I'm waiting for your like 1500th interview to happen. Right?